How is it going, everyone? Today I'm here with my WWE Money in the Bank 2020 pay-per-view review. Of course, Money in the Bank streamed on the WWE Network as well as pay-per-view tonight. Without wasting any more time, I'm going to jump right into the video, of course, with the kickoff show that started 1 hour prior to the pay-per-view, which featured Jeff Hardy taking on Cesaro. Of course, this was Jeff Hardy's return match, his first match in over a year since he got injured. Of course, taking on Cesaro. And overall, I thought it was a good match. My only complaint really was that I felt like, in a return match, your main purpose is to showcase that talent. You should, remind the people of what this person is capable of doing. I feel like they really didn't do that. Jeff Hardy is really just selling for Cesaro. Cesaro was, putting Jeff Hardy in various holds. He would sell good for Jeff when Jeff had his, offense and his small glimmer of comebacks. But, for the most part, it was just Cesaro working on Jeff. And I just felt like in this type of match, it definitely should have been more of Jeff, having the offense on Cesaro. But like I said, still a good match overall. Just for a return match, I felt like the roles should have been reversed overall. But Jeff Hardy, Cesaro, good match. Cesaro is always a perfect opponent to throw somebody in the ring with to have a good match, so no complaints from me. Jeff Hardy threw Cesaro into the steps, back in the ring, Swanton, finished Cesaro off that way. So Jeff Hardy gets the win on the kickoff show against Cesaro. Good match, but like I said, I just would have wished that they would have showcased Jeff more rather than him just selling for Cesaro. Then we go to the main show to open up with the Fatal 4-Way match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The New Day defending against The Miz and John Morrison, as well as Lucha House Party and the Forgotten Sons. This was a really good way to kick off the show. I thought this was a very fun match. Gran Metalik, man, he was absolutely awesome in this match, even though he looked exactly like Juventud Guerrera. Just everything about him, the mask, the attire, everything was dead on Juventud Guerrera. But he did a lot of cool shit in this match. Lindsay, at one point, him and Morrison did a really cool Spanish fly into the outside and took absolutely everybody out. I thought every team, for the most part, had a pretty good time to shine, and you got some pretty impressive near falls. At one point, I thought Miz and Morrison definitely secured the tag team titles, but that was broken up by the Forgotten Sons, I believe. So yeah, just, even though SmackDown Tag Team Division, they just keep hot-potating the titles, the matches always deliver. So that's the one thing you can say about the SmackDown Tag Team Division. They usually deliver in these matches, and that was definitely the case here. Like I said, just a lot of cool stuff and innovative stuff. Finish came, Big E got the big ending on Gran Metalik for the win to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles. With Kofi Kingston. At one point, Jackson Ryker got ejected once he tried to get involved. Even though it's a Fatal 4-Way match, whereas no DQs, pretty much anyone can get involved, honestly. So him to be ejected is kind of pointless because there's no rules, so he's not really doing anything wrong. But I understood it. He got ejected once, the Forgotten Sons almost ended up winning the match. But yeah, just overall, a very fun way to kick off the main pay-per-view. R-Truth versus MVP, which was supposed to be MVP. MVP comes out, Lashley comes out, says he got it, take the night off. Truth goes, oh, I'll take the night off too. Lashley says no. They have a match, and Truth got some offense in, but Lashley was pretty much dominant, the spine buster. Went for the spear, Truth was able to counter out of it. Went for the scissors kick. Lashley countered out of that, hit a huge spear in R-Truth, 1, 2, 3. Lashley defeats R-Truth. Just a typical Lashley squash, nothing to it. SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley defending against Tamina. Okay, I will say this. Bayley probably got the absolute best match she possibly could have out of Tamina. I'll give her that. Besides that, this match is just decent, nothing to it. Tamina looked pretty bad as usual. Just every time she'd do something, she couldn't keep her balance, or she just couldn't hit it right. Just, I don't mean to rag on her, but Tamina's absolutely horrible, and she kind of just showed it here, and Bayley just did her absolute best to make her look good. Tamina actually almost won the championship with Samoan drop, near fall, but Sasha was able to distract Tamina, and of course Tamina, instead of pinning Bayley, stared down Sasha like a complete another moron. Went for another Samoan drop, but Bayley countered that into a crucifix pin. Bayley pins Tamina to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. So the good thing that benefited from this match was it did further the whole thing with Sasha and Bayley. Definitely tension rise there, and of course Bayley yet again used Sasha to help her retain the championship. So I thought that was good story progressing between those two, and like I said, I thought Bayley got the best possible match she could have out of Tamina here. So overall, for Tamina standards, decent match. From there, we go to the Universal Championship. Braun Strowman defending against Bray Wyatt. This match took me by surprise because I thought that this would be like a squash for Strowman. I thought he'd absolutely destroy Bray. But Firefly Funhouse Bray actually kicked Strowman's ass for a good part of the match. He hit some tornado DDTs on Strowman for some near falls. The puppets got involved, which I thought was great. Appearances at ringside to kind of root Bray going on. So overall, it was a good match. I thought there were some good back and forth stuff. The match went to the outside. Some count out teases, finishes were teased at some point, but obviously they were broken up. Just overall solid stuff. And of course, you know, Strowman. Okay, so the one thing I would say about this match is the finish made absolutely no sense, because you had Bray in control, and then Strowman puts on his black sheep mask and rises up. And Bray's like, oh, yes, he's home. He finally came back. He finally came to his senses. He's really believing that Braun saw light. Braun rips his shirt off, takes the mask off, throws it down, stomps on it, lifts Bray up for the slam. 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman retains Universal Championship. So I thought the finish made Bray look extremely fucking stupid, because throughout the match, he was outsmarting Braun. So he looked smart during the match, but then the finish, he just came off a complete and utter fucking stupid idiot. So I didn't understand how that benefited him in any type of way, but whatever. Obviously afterwards, they did the thing where Bray was in the ring and they did the whole tease of the Fiend. So obviously this feud's going to continue. I think they're going to do the Fiend versus Strowman probably at Backlash, because that's the next pay-per-view. Because obviously this match was just to set up Strowman versus the Fiend, and I think that's obviously what that accomplished. But match itself was fun. I actually enjoyed it. That was a good match. Probably the best match you possibly could have gotten out of these two in this circumstance. And but just, the finish was absolute shit. But besides that, good stuff overall. Then we had another vignette for the hacker on SmackDown. The truth revealed coming soon. I don't know who's going to be. I have no idea. I'm just going to say this. If it's Mustafa Ali, huge fucking letdown. Nothing against him, but this thing has been hyped up so fucking much that if it's him, or him and Shorty G. I love Shorty G. I love Chad Gable. But if it's just those two, man, what a fucking disappointment. But I know it's rumored to be a group of people. I don't know. Who knows? I'm interested in see how it plays out. But like I said, if it's just Mustafa Ali or just Mustafa Ali and Shorty G, huge and utter letdown in my personal opinion. But yeah, great vignette overall. And then we had the match tonight, I thought, which was for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre, of course, defending against Seth Rollins. Really good stuff from the beginning, kind of slow and typical, but the match progressed. You know, Rollins is kind of getting the upper hand of Drew, some to the outside, but Drew caught him, and belly to belly just fucking tossed Rollins onto the announce table. Rollins landed fucking terribly. Rollins is selling his back, and you know, Drew just took over Rollins from there, just throwing him left and right. Then it got real competitive, and if this match felt like a legit big fight, championship fight feel to it. And another thing, Seth Rollins debuted a brand new theme. Don't like it. I think the intro sounds exactly like Bayley and Johnny Gargano's new theme, so I don't understand. I mean, I get his gimmick with it, but it sounds like the exact same theme, if you ask me, the intro at least. So not digging it. They should just went back to Seth Rollins' original theme, the first version of his, you know, his last theme. That's what they should went back to. But Rollins' new theme, I'm not a fan of it, but just thought I'd mention that since he debuted it here. But yeah, McIntyre and Rollins had a great match. You know, Rollins his super kick, and McIntyre kicked out of one, which I thought was absolutely awesome. Rollins was able to hit the Falcon Arrow, which he was selling his back greatly. And, you know, the stalling, when he lifted him up and stalled for a bit because his back was giving out a little bit, but Rollins was able to take control. I thought that was a great little touch by him. Was able to obviously follow through with the Falcon Arrow, like I said, McIntyre for a near fall. Hit the stomp, McIntyre kicked out of it, went for a stomp again, but McIntyre, like, popped out of it. And as Rollins is coming back down, he, like, fucking hit the headbutt on Rollins. That was great, but went for the Claymore. Rollins countered to a super kick. Went for the stomp. McIntyre was able to counter it into another headbutt, followed by Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Successfully retains the WWE Championship against Seth Rollins. Like I said, overall, I thought it was a great match. Started off slow, but as progressed, mainly once McIntyre, you know, took back control. Once, you know, gave Rollins the belly to belly or onto the announce table. I thought the match got really good and picked up, and I thought they told an excellent story. I thought the finish was fantastic as well, and Rollins really sold the Claymore as if he got his head pretty much torn off. And just to add to the match, I thought this was a great touch. McIntyre gets back in the ring once Rollins is back up and says, "Hey, good match, thank you," and shakes Rollins' hand and walks away. I thought that was a great sign of respect, and definitely was a great touch for McIntyre being the world champion. So just little things like that make a huge difference in a character and a champion. So I thought that was a great touch to end, which was a great match. Like I said, my personal favorite match of the night on the card. And of course, afterwards, we had an interview with R-Truth backstage. He pretty much just said he wants his 24/7 championship back from Tom Brady. Obviously, Rob Gronkowski is the 24/7 champion, but obviously the Tom Brady reference makes sense. But that was a very, very funny segment, an interview there from R-Truth. And then, of course, we go into both the men and the women's Money in the Bank contract ladder matches. Of course, both these matches occurred at the exact same time. The introductions were great. I had like everyone pile up in one room. You had the women, of course, in the lobby. You had the men start into the weight room, or the gym, I guess you can say. And I thought the introductions were great. Asuka, of course, you know, jumping off, you know, the second level was fantastic. I thought a great way to start the match. The characteristics that everyone thought was great. You know, Bryan walking in all amped up, like, yeah, let's do it, let's get into it. Otis just being Otis, thought was fantastic, and just everything about this match overall I thought was fantastic. I love the way it was formatted, just love the way they played it all out. You know, the chasing of the elevator, the cameos. You know, obviously Steph had a very corny one, which obviously she wasn't at the headquarters. You can obviously tell hers was like pre-taped at her house or whatever. It just came off really bad when Dana Brooke won in a conference room, which Dana Brooke, why do they make her character stupid? I don't understand it at all. Like, she knew the briefcase was on the roof, yet in the conference room, she retrieved the briefcase with money in it, and she thought she won the match. Don't know how fucking stupid you can make her look, but they managed to top it every single time. Brother Love made an appearance. He was going to the bathroom washing his hands. That was funny. John Laurinaitis, which I popped huge for people power. I will always pop for John Laurinaitis. Paul Heyman was like catering, eating, and a huge food fight erupted in front of him, which I thought was great. Vince McMahon had a cameo when AJ and Dana Bryan were fighting in his office. They were just sitting there brawling, and Vince's like, what the hell is going on? And they straightened his office out. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was a great spot. So the cameos throughout, you know, the match, I thought were very entertaining. And Doink the Clown, I guess, it's supposed to be Doink the Clown, but it just looked like a terrible wannabe clown of him. I don't know. It didn't really come off like a good Doink. But yeah, Craziest Insured. You know, Corbin broke the mirror in the gym, and he sold it like he thought he was gonna get legit trouble. So I thought that was a great touch on Corbin's part. But yeah, the brawling and everything throughout this entire match, you know, leading all the way to the roof, that was fantastic. Had a lot of fun stuff. You know, AJ seeing the Undertaker poster and freaking out, and then, you know, Aleister Black throwing him into that room with the coffin in it and locking AJ in. I thought that was a great touch. With Carmella, side note, she looked absolutely fantastic in this match. Fantastic ring gear. Just thought I'd point that out. Asuka, her elevator stuff and her just running, and it's her being her. She was definitely the MVP of this match by a mile. But then, you know, the match goes all the way to the rooftop, of course, in which Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, and Asuka are the competitors in the ring. They're all going for the briefcase. And then Asuka, she's the one that secures it. She secures the briefcase. She wins it. Asuka has missed Money in the Bank for 2020, and I think it couldn't have went to a more deserving person. I think she's the best person to win it, especially giving her performances since these PC shows. She's definitely earned that right to win this match, if you ask me. Shayna Baszler, she definitely didn't need it. She had a great moment, though, in the match where she choked out Rey Mysterio in the catering room, which I thought was a great moment as well. So that was a great spot. But yeah, Asuka winning it, definitely well deserved, and definitely was the best candidate to win it. Like I said, just given her performances alone at these PC shows. So that concluded the women's proportion of the match. And of course, the men, they all made it up into the ring. Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio were murdered. King Corbin threw Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio off the roof, so he committed murder on pay-per-view, so let that be noted. And back in the ring, you know, it's Styles going up the ladder, him and AJ are going at it, and AJ is trying to secure it, and he thought he secured it, and then the briefcase ends up falling because, you know, him and Corbin get it, or AJ gets it, him and Corbin have a tug-of-war. Elias comes out of nowhere, smacks Corbin with the guitar. Corbin then, you know, like, let's go, but he hits AJ. AJ fumbles the briefcase, and it drops into the hands of Otis. Otis of Heavy Machinery. Yes, Otis, the comedy guy, is Mr. Money in the Bank, and I fucking love it. I love the unpredictability of it. The push Otis has been getting. Man, this guy proved anything can happen. He got a singles match at WrestleMania. He's got Mandy Rose with him, and now he's Mr. Money in the Bank. This guy's got it going for him, and I thought it was an absolutely awesome turn of events, and honestly, I'm very interested. I think Otis has been a hell of a run since WrestleMania, or even before that, and I'm pretty excited, honestly, to see what they do with him. I hope he doesn't waste on the tag team titles. I really don't. I'd love to see a singles run from Otis, so I think they should definitely go with that. But him winning was definitely a huge surprise, and definitely was a huge shock, but I thought it was absolutely awesome, and I thought it definitely was a huge surprise, and definitely has looking forward to see what they do with him in the briefcase. So Otis winning, huge surprise, made my jaw legit drop. I couldn't believe it, but it was one of those times where it was for a good reason. It wasn't for a bad reason. It was for a good reason. I couldn't legitimately believe it for a good reason. But yeah, the whole Money in the Bank ladder match was a lot of fun. That was a great match. The way they shot it, it was kind of cinematic, kind of like still like the way they shoot regular matches. So it's kind of a mix of both. They added some music and stuff, so they definitely kind of try to add like a film element to it, especially once they got to the rooftop with the overview shots and whatnot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a great match, a lot of fun. Definitely was an innovative way to do Money in the Bank, and given the circumstances, definitely thought it was the best way they could have handled it. Very fun, especially interactions. They did some men and women stuff. One thing that didn't make sense that I kind of forgot to mention was Asuka and Corbin. They both climbed the ladders, but they were going for the briefcases, but for some reason they were fighting over the briefcases, even though they were going for separate briefcases. Made absolutely no sense. Asuka knocked out Corbin, would prevent him from winning. That's when she ended up winning it. But besides that, yeah, I love the cameos. Like I said, the match itself was very fun, very, very enjoyable, and definitely was a great way to end off this pay-per-view, which was very short. It was less than 2.5 hours, not counting the kickoff show. So definitely was the shortest pay-per-view we had in quite a long time. But overall, Money in the Bank, I thought was a good show. Given the circumstances, I definitely thought it was an easy show to sit through. I thought most of everything was fun. Bobby Lashley, they made it look great. The opening tag team title match was a lot of fun. Both title matches for what they were. McIntyre and Rollins thought delivered and thought was great. Strowman and Wyatt for, expectations and, given it was Firefly Funhouse Bray versus Strowman. I thought it was a very fun match. It's just not a good finish by any means. And of course, both the men and the women's Money in the Bank ladder matches in the main event was a hell of a lot of fun to watch. So I had no complaints from me. Money in the Bank, solid show overall. That was a good way for WWE to entertain us. And definitely made me excited to see the future. I'm definitely interested to see how they go with Asuka the briefcase. Definitely interested to see what they do with Otis the briefcase. They definitely had me interested in seeing what goes on after Money in the Bank. So I'm interested, and WWE definitely got me hooked on to see what's going on. So yeah, Money in the Bank overall, like I said, good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it, thought it was fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to like below. And of course, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video.